All right. A very good evening to one and all. This is Harshia. Currently, it is 5 p.m. England Standard Time, and it is 3:30 Dubai Standard Time. I hope you all are having a great afternoon. The evening has just started, so a great evening to the people. And I'll give you 5 minutes, all right? So, people, come on, we need more people coming in, all right? We want more people to join the live streaming session. Remember, we are here 5 days a week. I am here 3 times in a day, doing my best to provide you with as much of information, the hot stocks, and all sorts of trading information. All right, so I give you 5 minutes. We wait for people to join, and then we will continue. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening, a very good afternoon once again. This is Harsh with you, and today, this is the third live streaming session for today. All right, 17th October 2024, Thursday. It's been a great day. Yes, there has been a lot of uncertainties and pessimism and talks about, our Indian share market indices going down. But nonetheless, the market has closed. Correct. We take a step back, we relax, we understand, how was the day, what has happened during the market, which sectors have performed, overperformed, underperformed. So, all right, but before we get started, a quick introduction about myself. I'm Harsh. I've had over 8 years of trading experience, mainly trading forex, commodities, and US indices such as Dow Jones and S&P 500. And currently, we have even started trading the Indian share market and the indices and the individual stocks also. We are providing you with these live streaming sessions because we believe that it is our duty to provide you, to offer you with valuable information which can help you get better in life, not just in terms of money, but in terms of providing you with the right set of trading education. It is very vital, it is very important. Most of the people that I come across are like, Harsh, how can I make a quick buck in the financial markets? How can I make a quick buck in the stock market, forex market, commodity markets? And I'm like, bro or lady, see, does the stock market, does the share market have potential to make a good amount of money? Definitely yes, but You really need to pay a lot of attention. You need to dedicate yourself into learning. All right. Rome was not built in a day. When you go to Rome today, you notice it's so beautiful, but it took hundreds of years. So I'm just trying to give you a reference for you to understand how things function. Take step by step, make it simple, take constructive baby steps to get better. And that is the reason I am here with you today, right? So we can discuss, we can interact, and take it forward. So the market is closed. We want to take a step back. All right, we see Sophia in the chat room. Sophia is one of the only ones who's chatting. I want all of you to chat and say yes. I'm happy. I'm excited to learn what Harsh is going to be talking about. What are we going to listen? What are the new technical aspects of trading that we are going to discover, right? So there's so much of things to, uncover. There's a lot of nuggets going to be let out in terms of technical jargons, some technicalities in terms of charting and trading. So there is so much to cover up. All right, so as we were discussing about today, right, the market has closed. I hope you all can see my screen. Perfect. All right. So today's day, right? 17th of October. We had no doubt there was a strong bullish move presence, right? The price has moved by almost 1.15% for the day compared to all the other candles that you're being able to look at the screen. You can see that yes, there has been momentum or bearish pressure coming out. Like I had mentioned earlier, and it is very important for me to give you a quick heads up that yes, this area is important. We expected price to come, it is already starting to react and it's come back again. Let the price decide what it wants to do over here, and then we will see in the coming week or maybe on Friday. Remember, Fridays are generally days when people are squaring off positions. People generally don't tend to add on Fridays, yeah, but we will see nonetheless. So, coming back to, I've told you about myself, 8 years of experience, been more of a technical trader. I've told you about our beautiful company. We are very, very, very happy that like minded individuals are joining this live stream, and it's very important for us to make sure that, when they are joining, it is our duty to provide them with valuable information and data that will help you become a better person in terms of trading, in terms of acquiring the financial skills, in terms of attaining the financial, analytical mind. It's very important. We need to be an overall culmination of everything, correct? So, Nifty has done the same thing. BSE, what about the Bombay Stock Exchange? The Bombay Stock Exchange, like the Nifty, has been. Sorry, I always, the Bombay Stock Exchange and BSE. BSE is different. We just call it as Sensex, correct? So Sensex, right, has been following its big brother's path. The Sensex too has been bearish, correct? It's created a retracement of around 1%. All right, from a major from a major correction of a bearish correction. I'm talking about this one. From this high to this low, price has corrected itself, and the movement has been of around 6%. So I get it. We are slightly inching towards, the 10. Remember that what I had said in the morning and in the afternoon. The big market analysts sitting in India who handle billions of dollars, they are seeing a movement of a 3 to 10% in a span of 2 years on the Indian index, right? Indices, the BSE and the NSE. It's healthy. A move of 3 to 10% in 2 years is considered to be healthy. So we are still in that particular frame, correct? We are still between the guidelines, so it's fine. We will still figure out what else are to be done later on. All right. And another question I need to keep another dilemma, another point that I had to cover. It's very important because as and how more people are going to join and be a part of this wonderful community of this particular live stream session, it is very important from my side to make sure that all of you are able to understand. So it is very, very, very important that you make sure that people who understand English, because I'm mainly talking English, but there are few people who might be that we do not understand English, and we don't understand English that well, but we hope that you can talk in Hindi. So I am very good in Hindi. मेरी हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है, मैं मुंबई का पला बड़ा हूँ, तो मुझे पता है। आप बताइए मुझे कि अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, तो प्लीज कमेंट डाउन। आई कीप इट वेरी सिंपल। If you want me to continue in English, you just have to type one. Go to the comment box in the YouTube live stream session and type just number one, right? One for English, two for Hindi. Yeah, I want to keep it very sweet and simple because it is important that I have to make sure that everyone who is in this group, can understand, can can gather the knowledge. It's not that I don't believe in partiality, correct? We live in a world where everyone is treated equally and should be treated equally. So please make sure that for people who understand in English, just type one. For people who don't understand English and want me to be more clear, want me to add Hindi, please type two. I'm sorry, I cannot give you the third option of Arabic because I don't know Arabic. Otherwise, I would have given you the option of Arabic too. All right, so one for English and two for Hindi. All right, let's quickly have a look at what the markets have done, right? As you are all aware that yes, the market sentiment for the Indian stock market indices have been bearish. I mean, majority of the companies, let me give you the number also. 41 out of 50 companies. We are talking about Nifty, all right? I hope you all are aware, and I would love to remind you that it's Nifty, right? Nifty is the national stock exchange of the Indian stock market, comprising of the best 50, 50, all right? I hope I'm showing the right sign, all right? 50 companies, the top performing companies, that are basically handling the backbone of the Indian economy. So 50 out of 50 companies, 41 companies, right? So that is a pretty significant, right? How much would be 41? You can do the calculation and figure it out. It's a pretty high ratio. They have been in red. They have been in the negative. So the weightage, correct, on the Nifty has taken a beat. It's taken a burden of those kind of bearishness on those particular company. There was an anomaly, or the minority, I would call it as, where the IT and the shoemaking industries have done pretty well compared to the other automobile infrastructure based companies. So today's market is closed bearish. No, it is what it is. The Nifty is bearish. The BSE has followed Nifty's footsteps, and the BSE is bearish also. We had shared a stock, all right, for people who missed the afternoon's webinar or live streaming session. We had given you a stock option, a hot stock called as black box. So for people who haven't attended the afternoon's live webinar, I mean, sorry, but I would love you to, attend as many live webinars as possible. It's for your own betterment, correct? So if you haven't taken a screenshot, please do so. I just want to make sure that everyone is given, right? Everyone is given the right to take this picture, because we are giving you hot stocks and we want you to make sure you keep these hot stocks. Maintain a list, maintain an Excel sheet so you can verify the results for yourself. You would not have to, go and figure out, no, maybe they might be doing this and that. You can see it for yourself and then decide whether are we really doing well or are we just bluffing. So, all right. I hope you all have taken a screenshot. Remember, it's called BBOX, Black Box. It is listed on the National Stock Exchange. And here are the entry and target areas. We have a message from Sophia again. Wow. Sophia is the only one who's been interacting so well. I'm pretty sure everyone else is sleeping. All right. So the market, Sophia says the market is tough these days. Yes, Sophia, the market is tough. The market is kind, shy. No, the market is correcting itself. The market is not tough. The market is always going to remain the same. It is our emotions which are associated with the market that give us, that make us say out, these terms, where whether it is tough, whether it is sweet, whether it is angry, whether it is happy, correct? So I hope everyone has taken the screenshot of this particular hot stock. All right, whenever the market opens next day, you have these entries and you can use it for your reference. So yes, it's been bearish. As mentioned again, the Nifty and the Sensex have taken a hit. It has come back to the origin, right? As I had mentioned, the origin of the move from where price had rallied to the upside. Prices had come back to the same level. Let me denote it again with a rectangle for illustration. Prices reacted, correct? Prices had reacted very well, then prices corrected. They had a small bounce and now prices are back. So now, since the market is closed, we don't have to break ahead much about it, but we can just start or try to anticipate that yes, we do expect a correction in the coming days or the next week onwards. All right. Now that the market is closed, coming back to the real goal of this particular webinar, remember, since I am doing 3 webinars, the first 2 webinars are mainly pertaining when the markets are running, when the markets are active. That is the time when everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants to know which is the hot stock to put your money on, correct? But now once the market closes, we slow down, we get relaxed, correct? The way Matthew McConaughey says it, all right, all right, all right, correct? Delayed chiller attitude. Now we talk more about the technicalities, correct? So as I had discussed yesterday, I had started with a very, very basic understanding of the basics of the basic, correct? What is a candlestick? How does a candlestick move up? Why is it called as a bull candle? Why is it called as a bear candle? So what I'm trying to say is I started with the most basic of the basic stuffs, right? Today I want to keep it a little more on the, it's not going to be, yesterday was very basic. Let me try to get you beautiful people to understand it from a little mediocre level, correct? I want to not keep it too basic, and I don't want to jump to the extreme advanced technicalities where people will be like, dude, what the hell is happening? I cannot understand anything, correct? So I need to make sure that everyone in this community, in this particular live streaming session, understands what I say. So let me give you a few of the basic to mediocre level technical strategies, we would call it as, correct? So let us just start with the basic. We will use the Nifty as a reference, as a case study, correct? Here we have indicators. I hope most of you are aware of TradingView. TradingView is a charting and analytical platform which is used to analyze stocks, shares, forex, commodities. So there are so many products that TradingView offers. It has thousands and thousands. You can type all, and the list goes on and on. Like the mouse keeps scrolling. You see, no matter how below I scroll the mouse, it's like an infinite. It's like a sea of shares, of stocks, of forex, of commodities. It's one of the best trading platforms, and I highly recommend anyone who really wants to understand how trading works. This is the way to go. Sophia, teacher, I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And this also encourages me to put in more energy, more effort, more dedication into explaining, and trying to do the best, trying to portray the best of my capabilities so it's easier. And, I want to keep it sweet, but I also want to make sure that I am able to provide the best of that information to you in a concise and easy manner, correct? That is why I'm here. What do we say? When Harsh is here, nothing to fear, correct? When Harsh is here, nothing to fear. Coming back to the technical indicators, right? We're going to use technical indicators and plot it on the charts so that we understand how things function. there are thousands and thousands of trading strategies. We are just going to start with some of the basic to mid-term mediocre level strategies, so that people from this particular live session, from all walks of life, from all walks of intellectual capabilities, can understand one of the most commonly used trading strategy, right? Let me just start with the moving averages. Moving averages, yesterday I discussed about how they are, what they are, how they are calculated and all that. But just let's put the moving averages and then I'll explain you further. All right. So we have the moving average. Now there are many moving averages. We have simple, ribbon, exponential. I prefer to use exponential because it takes into data the last candle. Like every indicator has a parameter that you can play with, correct? So we have this. So we have length of 9. You can make it to 20, 10, 100, 500. It's up to you. I'm going to stick to a basic number of 20. Now, as you can see, let me change the thickness and the color so that it is easier for you to understand. And let me put yellow. All right, I hope you all can see my screen. All right, good. Very good. Now, a moving average is nothing like I had mentioned, but it is a mathematical equation of the last X number of candles. X stands for the time period. When I double click on the indicator and I go to inputs, we have length. So the length is the X factor, correct? The more number, the bigger the number I put, the slower the moving average will be, and the shorter the parameter I put, it's going to be very zigzag. All right. There is no golden number that works on all time frames. Please remember, trading is not like a place or a strategy where you just put one number and it works perfectly. There is never any indicator on this planet Earth that is that ideal, that hypothetical. There's nothing. It's only maybe in our dreams or in virtual reality. It doesn't happen in real life. So, an easy way to understand about the moving averages, it's very simple. Whenever price is above, price as in the candles, all right? Whenever the candles are above, it is simple. It is easy to understand that the price will be generally, all right? It's not 100 out of 100 times, but majority of the times prices will be bullish, all right? Bullish meaning it will be in an uptrend, going to the upside. When prices are below or when prices go sideways, right? For example, this particular area, whenever price goes below the moving average, there is bearish sentiment. There is a bearish tendency, correct? A very simple but unique example. Now, people will be like, Harsh, okay, this is also interesting, but yes, still, we want maybe a little more confirmation, because then people are like, okay, Harsh, what about this area, this particular area where price has just been going sideways? Remember, the markets can only go, the financial markets, any product on the financial market can only travel or decide to go in only three directions. One, two, three directions. Either the price can go in an upswing. You see how the price is going in an upswing? Or the price can go sideways. You see how price goes sideways? Or the price can be in a downswing or a bear swing. So there are so many ways. There are only three ways, correct? Either it's going to be in an upswing, or it's going to go sideways, or it's going to be in a downswing. A bull swing, sideways, downswing. All right, easy. Now it's only about playing with the parameters. The higher the parameter, the X factor. Remember, if you double click on the line, if you put higher number, this is where you can experiment and put your figures and try to figure out what suits you best. When price goes below, generally it has a bearish sentiment. I can see there are very few people in the chat room still not even typing. I guess most of you are sleeping, or I have no clue. Or maybe you're trying to do some other work. So, no problem. I'm here. I'll make sure to keep you awake. All right. Many people say that, all right, but what about one moving average? What if we, have little more confluence, more confirmation? So we have a similar movement of the moving averages, but we would use two moving averages. Or it's simple, we have something called as either dual, double moving averages, or we can use a ribbon. Ribbons are also great. Ribbons are basically moving averages, a culmination, maybe around 5 to 6 moving averages, which play out. Let me just put it to you for you so you can understand. Initially, I talked about one moving average. A ribbon moving average is basically a culmination. Here we have how many? We have one, we have two, we have three, we have also four. It's like a ribbon. You know how ribbons they fly, right? So they kind of have these varieties of swings and all that. So basically, the moving average which is inside is very tight. It all depends on the number, the parameter. 20 is the smallest number, if you can see on my screen. The shorter the number, the more volatile, the more zigzag it's going to have. The bigger the number, the more slow it's going to be, correct? So, currently, in simple terms, I'm showing you this example on the Nifty. Actually, it's not the best example because Nifty generally has a bullish consensus. Let me just show it to you on a stock. Maybe just let's consider TCS for now. So when you're looking at a stock, because now stocks, they not all stocks are bullish. They have their phases when they are bearish also. When stocks are bullish, for this particular trading strategy, when the moving averages, all the moving averages are below, they converge, they cross over, and then prices are above. There is bullish, sentiment. Like for example, this. If you can see, once price closed above the moving average and all the ribbons were below, right? Ribbons as in moving averages. They close. Price has a bullish sentiment. Similarly, when all the ribbons are above and price is below, it is having a bearish sentiment. If you can look at this area, the moment this was clutter. Clutter is basically when things are not clear enough. Things are sideways, things are diluted. We are not able to get a clear depiction of direction. Once we get a clear direction, price crosses below all the ribbons or the moving averages, it creates a bearish sentiment. So it starts to, incline more towards being bearish. All right. So this was one of the first, right? Moving averages. Then we have exponential moving averages. Many people are, I guess, aware about this. Many people, most of you would be using moving averages, but very few people use ribbon moving averages because ribbon moving averages, requires more time for price to close below. Every indicator, right? Every indicator has its plus point and negative points. You just have to make sure that you can use, the best of the both worlds. Like try to keep the positive higher and try to keep the negatives low so that it helps in, kind of giving you that Goldilocks zone. Remember what I was talking to you yesterday? We want it more suitable for our style of trading, correct? So this was about moving averages, single moving average and moving average ribbons. Moving average ribbons are multiple moving averages plotted together, correct? I'm going to delete this. All right, guys, come on. You have to be more interactive. I get it. Many people think they might not know, they might feel, they might be not understanding. That is why I'm here, correct? With moving averages, it's very simple in terms of its visual depiction. Price is below. I will just give you a drawing for easy understanding. When price is below and the moving averages, for example, if this is the moving average, I hope you can see the red color highlighted line. When price is above the moving average, generally it will have a bullish consensus, correct? G structure. And whenever price has, when the moving averages converts and creates something like this, and price is below, it will generally have this kind of bearish consensus. All right, now coming on to the next one. You want more nuggets. I get it. Everyone is interested to learn more about it. Second one that I would be talking to you about is basic. Let's talk about support and resistance. It's a very vague and very common terminology used in trading. Wow, resistance, support, and resistance, S and R. Let me tell you the gist about what support and resistance is all about. All right, I'm going to use rectangles so that it's going to be easier for you to understand. All right, generally, when price, as I had mentioned earlier, creates 1 minute. Whenever price creates swing, let me just denote it with the path. All right, so here the path is. I'm just picking a particular random time in terms of explaining how things are functioning. All right, so as you can see the yellow line, yes, I understand it is zoomed out. It is, the charts are zoomed out for a reason. Yeah, please don't panic, or please don't be like you want to zoom in to make it clear. We don't need that currently at this moment. When prices are going right, these are pivots. Pivot points are important, prominent points from where price turns. When it was bullish, price has turned bearish. When it was bearish, price has turned bullish. So the turning points are called as pivots, correct? Now that we have identified some of them, and if we had to draw a line, or I would prefer to draw a rectangle, because trading is never exact. You have to give it a buffer. Nothing is exact in life. It always needs to be given a buffer. So that is why I prefer to use rectangle. Whenever price comes back to the opposite side, right, let me just denote it with a basic universal color so that people don't confuse with the greens and the reds, correct? When prices reach to the opposite side of pivots, right, price has a tendency. Yes, you might have wicks kind of like these, but these are basically called as resistance. All right. Let me just type it down so that it's easier for you to understand. It's called as resistance. Why? Because it's resisting, right? Imagine you trying to get up and then someone is, pushing you down from your shoulders. So you are resisting, all right? That's how the term resistance is used. So when price comes to the opposite side and reacts, it's called as resistance. Similarly, towards the opposite side, when price comes to the opposite side of a swing and creates support, right? What do we call it as? Support. So resistance is generally denoted by red. I get it. So let me put it so it's easier for you, lovely people, to understand. It's very important to keep it simple and visual, because more than my wordings, it is the color annotations that make it simple for you to understand. Let me put green. So green for support, right? Because it is holding price. That is why I put in green. And when price is resisting, it's more bearish, right? Bullish, green, bearish, red. So support is the same, support or ceiling. Ceiling is for resistance. Support is more of a floor. When you throw a ball on the floor, it bounces, correct? So that is how the price is similarly to a ping pong ball, right? As you can see, when price creates a support, the next time it bounces and it goes up. Then again it comes and bounces and then it goes up. It's like a ball bouncing. So we use these two terms called as support and resistance. Now there are many. This is a very basic definition of what support and resistance is all about. But then a little more onto the advanced side. When a support or a resistance is taken out. What I mean by taking out is when price closes above it. Let me just delete everything so that everything is clear. And let me give you a better example. Yes, this example. For now, we don't need the ticker symbol at the back, so I'm removing the watermark. We don't need watermark right now, right? It's about the explanation, the technical aspect of trading, all right? So it doesn't matter which stock we look at. And anyways, for people who are still curious about which stock to look at, you can see my cursor right here. It is TCS, right? Listed on the National Stock Exchange. Now coming back to the next advanced level of support and resistance. So when price comes to a resistance, it generally has a tendency to hold. And when price comes to a support, it has a tendency to bounce back. Now, will it happen infinitely throughout life? Never. Nothing is infinite. Nothing is hypothetical. At some point of time, it's going to break. It's going to, break or follow. So what I'm trying to explain here is this: when price breaks through a resistance, all right, let me change the color. When price breaks through a resistance for this particular example, all right, please don't confuse it, as I'm just talking about trying to explain it simple so that it is easier for you to understand. Sophia says she likes McD. So do you like McD or do you like McDonald's? I'm just joking, I get it. We will come to the moving average, convergence, divergence, don't worry about it. So once price breaks, all right, here, this was a resistance that was created, and this is the breakout. So the moment we have this huge candle to the upside, it's called as a break. So the resistance gets taken out. Whenever something gets taken out, I generally denote it by a huge X, right? X, whenever we make mistakes on paper, we have this habit of canceling, but many people, they like to, use an X. So that is how, when this resistance gets taken out, it's like it becomes the opposite. So the resistance becomes a support. So now, what was a resistance, right, has now turned into a support. You get my point? I hope I'm able to explain it in a very simple and sweet manner, because very important for people to understand, right? So the resistance that was taken out has turned into support. We call these as flip areas. Flip areas, all right? Flip areas are nothing but places or places, yeah, on the chart where a prior resistance, a previous resistance has been taken out by support, and vice versa. There might be areas, and let me just show you an example of an area which a support has been taken out and has created a resistance. A support has been taken out, for example, like this area, a very beautiful area. Let me just denote it quickly so that you can understand. We had this support area, correct, where price was holding this area. Let me use the path so that people can understand what I am telling. Price was going up and was going down, up, down, up. So it had created a support. Now that support has been taken out. Now once the support gets taken out, that support turns, it flips and becomes a new resistance. So what was a support has now turned into a resistance area. Let me draw the box so that it's visually clear for people. I don't want any sort of confusion, at least for these basic, remember, this is still a little under basic to a mid-level trading strategy. All right. So I don't want to push it and make it too advanced, otherwise people will be like, we can't understand anything. If you're not clear with the basics and the mid-level terminologies, it will be very hard once I go on to the advanced levels. All right. So the moment a support is taken out, when price closes and closes significantly below the support, it flips. So the support where price was breaking has turned into a resistance. All right. Again, what do we call it as? We call it as flip area. Let me just type it again so people are aware about it. All right. Just when a support turns into resistance, or when a resistance turns into support, it is called as a flip area, correct? So now we had discussed two: moving averages and ribbon moving averages, multiple moving averages, and support and resistance. Sophia was talking about MACD. Let me give you a quick intro about MACD, right? I'm talking about MACD, all right, not the burger, not the burger from McDonald's. People get confused in that. And people like, I would like to have a MACD. I'm not selling burgers. I'm talking about MACD, moving average convergence divergence. Let me put it for you so that you can understand. All right, moving average convergence divergence. I had given you a very small brief about this yesterday also. In pure basic technical terminology, we have two things in the moving average convergence divergence. Let me just call it as MACD. All right, we have a histogram and we have two moving averages. The simple concept or the simple understanding behind this particular indicator, I will showcase with my arrow. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get my arrow to the below the chart inside the technical indicator because I can use it only on the chart. All right. So as you can see my crosshair and the arrow mark, it will be easier for you to understand. Whenever the histogram is nothing but these bars that you see, correct? You have two colors of histograms, the green color and the red color. The darker the color, all right? The darker the color, the better, the stronger the movement of price. The lighter the color, the less movement of price. Sophia is asking teacher, what indicators do you usually use? Sophia, a very good question, and I hope it gives curiosity to other people also to think in that particular fashion. Well, Sophia, unfortunately, I hardly use any indicators. I purely rely on candlesticks. I try to understand the structure behind what the candles are trying to show. What are they trying to showcase? I try to understand the subtle story behind why did the candle close in a particular fashion. For example, if you can look at my arrow, I want to notice why this candle was so bearish. Why this candle is so bearish? And I try to tell myself a story. Then if this candle was bearish, the prices were bearish. But the moment that last bearish candle was taken out, it indicated a change of character. Many, now this is getting a little on the technical side, but we call it as CHOCH. I mean, a few people of you, I guess, the ones who are on the more advanced side of technical trading would be aware of this terminology. It is called as CHOCH. And it basically indicates change of character. I know it's outside. Let me get the box inside. Change of character. All right. Now, change of character. It's another ball game altogether. I don't want to make it too frustrating for day one, but let's keep it simple. Coming back to MACD. MACD is when, like I was talking about the histogram. Histogram has only two colors of different shades. It has a darker shade and it has a lighter shade. Now, when it is of a darker shade, yeah, only two colors, green and red. Green is bullish, green bullish, red bearish. All right, I had explained it very well yesterday. So whenever the moving averages, right, you see these two lines, right? These two lines are moving averages. Remember, we had plotted moving averages on the chart. It is very similar, but it is plotted separately. All right. When these two moving averages are crossing above the histogram, price sentiment will be bullish. Will generally be bullish. I'm not writing down in stone that it's going to be bullish, but the general consensus is it will be bullish. When price crosses below, you see where my crosshair is. Try to let me just use maybe the brush, right? So when price goes here, as I hope you can see my screen, right? Yes. When the histogram is red and the moving averages are below price, generally the sentiment is bearish. And when when the moving averages are above the histogram, right? Remember, when prices are below, the general tendency for the color is always going to be red. And when prices are above, the general color, the tendency for the color is generally going to be green. So when the moving averages are above the histogram, you get the bull swing or you get a bullish sentiment, right? Moving averages, frankly, Sophia, I think it's a very good indicator to start with because it kind of, makes it simple to understand. moving average, convergence, divergence, MACD. It's a very visual tool, so it kind of gives you, clear ideas or a visual depiction, a clear and a quick denotion of what is happening as of now. For this particular stock, we are talking about Tata Consultancy. So you can currently see the moving averages are below, right? The moving averages are below the red color histogram. So yes, as you can see, it is bearish, right? The moment, let me just kind of try to draw, to foresee what might happen in the future. If if the moving averages for some reason they decide that they want to go up eventually, right? So they're going to look something like this, and this histogram starts to turn, in the form of green color histogram, right? That would be the time when the consensus from bearish will start to become bullish, right? So MSCI is pretty interesting to know for people who are on the newer, on who are still newbies, who don't have much experience in the markets. For them, it is a very nice and visual tool to start with. All right. So I hope I don't want to make it too complicated or too burdensome, because people, it's already like around 6 o'clock or almost touching 6 o'clock in the evening for people living in India, and it's 4:30 ish, right? 4:20 ish in Dubai. So when people have already had a day full of work, full of activity, I don't want to make it too cumbersome for people so that they're like, Harsh, we are getting, it is too much for us now, and they start exiting. I don't want people to exit. I want people to be with me. I want to make sure that I am giving those nuggets and people are, very much interested to learn about it. So that is why I am here. And what I say all the time, if Harsh is here, nothing to fear, correct? So coming back to what I had told you from the beginning of this live streaming session, let me give you a quick 10-minute recap. What has been told to you about? Remember the market sentiment, right? Let me just delete everything so we don't have any drawings. Let me take out the indicator. Let me go back to Nifty, because we had, if you go back and you read the tagline of the live stream video for today, this what is the Nifty on the road to correction, correct? So if you look at Nifty, as I had mentioned, yes, the prices have been correcting pretty strong. The markets are closed, all right. For people who are still getting confused, right? The Indian stock market opens, the times, right, from 9:30 to 3:34 ish. So you get the point. The markets are done, but it has created what it had from the place it had skyrocketed or escalated so well, it has come back to that same area, all right, the origin or the starting point of that area, and prices have again created and come back to test it for the second time. Now this is going to be a very crucial area to understand, what we expect prices to do in the coming future for whatever price decides to go. And as I had mentioned in the previous webinar, the moment we get, a candle which, if this red candle was in control and it gets taken out with a strong counter candle, right? A red candle being taken out by a green candle, that will show the presence of bull power. And once that creates, you can be less worried, but be rest assured too that prices will continue up. Till that time, it's okay. You can take a step back, no issues. We are here for this particular webinar, a live streaming session to understand more about the technical aspects, correct? And this was about Nifty. And coming back to the other technical jargons that we were talking about the basic, not the basic, but the basic to the midterm technical indicators. Like I had mentioned, there are many indicators, thousands, if not less, of indicators out there. You can spend your whole lifetime playing with indicators, and it might even turn into a rabbit hole. So we don't want to get into that. But we were talking about the basic of it's not basic, but it's basic to mid level, and it is called as the moving average. The bigger the parameter, the bigger the length you give, the slower the moving average, or the more smooth, fluid. You know how fluid it becomes, correct? The slower, the less, the more stable it is, right? And the smaller, the shorter the number, like I put 5 for example, the more curves, the more twists and turns, then it becomes very much, in terms of, uh, it will have a lot of movements, correct? Generally, you have to play with the figure. There is no golden rule as to which figure works best. Whether you tell Harsh, should I use 5, or how should I use 50? You can do your research. Google is the best help for you. But everyone has to, accustom to their own personalities. Now, let me just put a round number of 14, right? 14 is somewhere around the Goldilocks zone. Anything above the moving average, once price closes, let me denote it with my arrow so everyone is on the same page. When price goes above the moving average and closes above, right? So when price closes above the moving average, there generally is bullish tendency for price to continue higher. At the same time, when price closes below the moving average, there is bearish. There is mostly bearish sentiment. So prices generally tend to go lower. And when prices are cutting, when they close above, when they close below, the market is going sideways. Like I had explained, the market can travel only in three directions. Prices can be either bullish, prices can be bearish, or prices can be sideways. There is no fourth movement. I mean, which movement are you going to consider? Like, it's not going to do anything, correct? It's going to go either up, as in it's going to go up, or it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. So there are only three movements that price can do. The second example that I was talking to you about was basically the ribbon. I mean, when I was talking about the moving average, the multiple moving averages, you just have to type ribbon, all right? Moving average ribbon. It will plot for you a couple of moving averages. You can even add or you can even delete moving averages in this. So it is fine. It's not big. It's not much of a concern to you. What number should I use, Harsh? Should I use this number, that number? I'm sorry, but you have to be your own judge for this. There are numbers all the way from 2 all the way to maybe 1,000, depending upon how much of back data that you can have. So play with the numbers, try to figure out which one suits you best. The only drawback of the ribbon moving averages, I mean, for all the moving averages to be below price and price has to close above, like for example here, it takes time, yeah. So it's not quick, as like I had shown you for a single moving average. It takes time, but once it does close above price, as you can see the arrow, correct, prices rally and prices rally well. Similarly, when I was showing you for the other example, I'm just using Tata TCS as an example. When prices close below that, right, as I had shown you before, once price closes below all the moving averages, there is generally bearish sentiment. All right, so that was more about the MAs, the moving averages, and now we are going to talk about the series, correct? The MA series. Look how I'm trying to combine the two together, MA and series, MA series. MA series people refer to as MACDs. I used to call it MACDs, and people are like, "What MACD? When are you going to MACD? When are you going to get me a burger from MACD?" And I'm like, "Bob, Baba, I'm talking about MACD, MA series, all right." So MSC, let me put the indicator quickly, and that's good about Sophia because she has, she has done you all a favor by, talking about this indicator. People, especially when they are learning, initially, it is very important that you need to have an indicator to understand, to kind of help you support in your trading decisions, whether should I go long, should I go short. So MSCD is a very good indicator to start with. A very simple denotation of an indicator of this particular MACD indicator is you have two colors for the histogram. Remember, as I had shown you earlier, there are only two colors for the histogram. Either it's going to be red, sorry, let me mark it here. Either it's going to be red or it's going to be green, all right? There is no other color unless and until you change the color, then it's up to you. So red is bearish, green is bullish, all right? And the moment the moving averages close above, all right, once the moving averages close above, price will generally have bullish sentiment. And when prices are below the histogram, prices will have bearish sentiment. So these are some trading strategy. Remember, this is also a strategy. What is a strategy? A strategy is a simple formulation to make a particular process, more mechanical, more technical. The term technical and mechanical are used interchangeably, so they remain the same. What they tend to say is, I want to keep, as constant as possible. Yes, we are going to have winners, we are going to have losers, but can we keep it as constant? So the term technical trading is about using technicalities, using, drawing tools to find out, and just keep repeating. It's like rinse, wash, repeat. I heard, you must have heard the term, correct? Or the three R's: reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. It's something similar to that. We just want to keep repeating this cycle, and we want the results to, to keep to we want the results to talk for themselves. So I hope this has been a good amount of information for you to digest today. Yes, it's been a hectic day. Yeah, the markets have been bearish, and the market sentiment has been bearish, pessimistic. Don't break a sweat about it. Don't worry. It's India. The economy will pick up soon. Just give it some time. And this session was mainly more about, knowing about you, trying to connect with you, trying to understand, how things are functioning, whether you are on the same page as I am. Oh, we have Lee again with his emoticons. I swear, Lee, you have to tell me, what does those red emojis stand for? I have no clue about it. So I hope you all had a great evening. I wish you all a great evening, right? Go out, chill out with your friends, chill out with your family. Have a night to remember, all right? It was very, very, very nice meeting you all. I do get it. Sometimes people feel a little, lazy, or maybe there is not much of interaction. Don't worry about it. If I'm not worrying, why should you worry, right? Because, like I said, if Harsh is here, nothing to fear. All right. Until next time, I see you. Make sure you're right here again. We'll again have a live streaming sessions. It happens 3 times in a day from Monday till Friday. All right. Until next time, I will see you tomorrow. Till then, peace out. Bye.